Why do we worship heroes? Why do we need legends? Once, it was Achilles. Then King Arthur. Now it's Elon Musk, Merbeast, or some dude on TikTok who makes coffee in the woods. Myths aren't just old stories. They're blueprints. We build our lives on them. And in a world that feels chaotic and uncertain, we look for symbols to follow. But what happens when the symbols are hollow? Today, myths are packaged by algorithms. Virality replaces virtue. The hero's journey has a brand deal. And somehow, it still works because we need to believe in something. The question is, what are we choosing to believe in the age of content overload? Creating your own myth, your values, your compass might be the most radical act.
It's not just burnout. It's not just anxiety. It's the quiet scream behind every "I'm fine." We keep treating symptoms without asking, why is everyone feeling like this? What if your depression isn't just personal? What if it's a logical reaction to a broken world? A society that rewards speed over depth, looks over substance, profit over people. No, it's not just in your head. It's in the system. But here's the catch. Recognizing the sickness is part of healing. You're not weak for feeling this. You're awake. And maybe, just maybe, there's strength in not adjusting to a world that's unwell. When we were kids, they told us, follow your dreams. Then we grew up and found ourselves clocking in for someone else's. Corporate life, hustle culture, endless performance reviews. It's all dressed up as success, but something feels off. Because deep down, we know we weren't made for this. Work without purpose is soul erosion. But here's the twist. Sometimes the system wins by making you too tired to imagine alternatives. This isn't just about quitting your job. It's about reclaiming your time, your curiosity, your right to say, this isn't it. You don't owe your life to a broken machine. Corruption isn't just in politics, it's in everyday life. You pull a string to get a job. The doctor skips the line for a friend. The connection solves the problem faster. At some point, we stopped calling it wrong. We started calling it survival. But every small compromise feeds the monster. When injustice becomes normal, outrage starts to look naive. Still, someone has to be naive enough to care. Maybe it's not about being clean in a dirty system. Maybe it's about refusing to become part of the dirt. Batman, Rorschach, Vitovid. Anti-heroes don't pretend to be perfect. That's why we trust them. They live in broken worlds, just like us. They struggle, they fail, but they keep going. In a world of fake smiles and curated lives, maybe being a little messed up is more honest. Today's heroes don't wear capes. They wear doubt. They wear trauma. They wear humor like armor. And maybe that's what makes them real. Some books are banned because they're dangerous, not because they hurt, but because they wake you up. They teach you to question, to think, to feel rage where silence once lived. From Orwell to Baldwin, from Huxley to Plath, these aren't just stories. They're survival manuals in a world that often doesn't make sense. If someone's afraid of you reading it, you probably should. Books don't just shape who we are. They remind us who we could become. Read dangerously. Work more. Complain less. Be grateful. Be quiet. We're taught that struggle is noble. That sacrifice is strength. But who benefits from our endurance? Why do we applaud survival, but never ask why we had to survive in the first place? Exhaustion isn't a virtue. Silence isn't maturity. Self-sacrifice isn't the same as love. You're allowed to want more. And maybe the most revolutionary act is to stop applauding your own suffering. Scroll, click, like, laugh, forget, repeat. The dopamine drip never stops. Neither does the emptiness afterward. We say we just chilling, but why does it feel like we disappearing? This isn't an anti-phone rant. It's a reminder. The more we let algorithms decide our joy, the harder it becomes to find it offline. Brain rot isn't just a meme. It's a cry for reality. Unplug, reclaim your brain. You might find yourself again. What's the point? That question haunts many of us, especially in a world where nothing feels stable. We joke to cope. We meme our pain. We hide behind sarcasm and nihilism. But maybe that's not the end. Maybe it's the start of something real. When you stare into the abyss and don't run. When you find a tiny flicker, an act of kindness, a deep laugh, a story that hits home. Meaning isn't handed to us. We build it, one brick of defiance at a time. Even in absurdity, we can choose sincerity. You don't have to be famous to matter. Holding the door, telling the truth, refusing to laugh at cruelty, choosing to care when it's easier not to. These things don't trend, but they transform. In a world that profits off numbness, feeling deeply is resistance. You are not powerless. Every moment you choose integrity, you're pushing back. And if enough of us do that, we just might change everything.